Hello and welcome, I'm Mr. Grand2 and today I'm going to outline my plans for Football Manager 22. I thought I'd do this early so I don't forget to. This is before any major feature announcements, so these are all maybe subject to change depending on what happens, who knows, but here we are. I'm just going to go through the plans quickly first of all so you don't have to listen to me waffle on, and then I'm going to explain my reasons behind them in a bit more depth afterwards if you are interested in that. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss the content that's coming on the channel. So firstly, the beta save I'm going to do this year is going to be with Aston Villa. Obviously, Jack Grealish is not there anymore, sold for £100 million, lots and lots of money, but I think the squad they have, the squad they already had, and the squad they now have with the three major summer signings of Leon Bailey, Danny Ings, and of course, Emi Buendia from Norwich is of course really, really good, and they've got some promising academy players who are playing quite a lot in the first stage of the season as well. So I think probably 3 seasons of that, as what we normally do. Could be a bit longer, it depends, but a really interesting team to start with. Then the next save we're going to be doing is going to be with Portsmouth, with the aim of getting them back into the Premier League and then hopefully kicking on and winning it. Obviously Portsmouth had a really great time winning the FA Cup under the sort of Harry Redknapp era, but it was built on unstable foundations. The club then of course went into absolute financial oblivion and have now been stuck in League One for a very long time. Can we get them back up? Can we keep them up? Can we push them on? Can we not be sacked by former Disney CEO Michael Eisner? We'll have to wait and see. Then 2 other saves which we're going to do, both of which will probably take the same format that we used in the International Journeyman save from this year. Make sure you watch that if you haven't done so already. First, we're going to be doing a challenge save with Chelsea, where the aim is basically to just not spend any money on transfers and focus on using the academy players. So only free transfers for the most part, but we can also re-sign old academy players for money and spend money on players who can become club-trained players aged sort of 16 to 18, that kind of thing as well. It sounds very complicated, but it will be clear when we do it. And lastly, same kind of format probably, we will be doing a journeyman save where we can only manage teams in East Anglia. That might end up being an FM23 save depending on sort of how much time we have for all of these kind of things. We will see. But our aim with that one will be starting in the Vanarama National League North or the Vanarama National League South to win the Premier League, the FA Cup and the Champions League. But obviously we're only going to be able to manage teams from the Eastern region to do so. Will we take a lower league side all the way up, or will we just do everything possible to get hired by Norwich? I don't know, but it's going to be interesting. So that's the news, subject to change of course, but that's the plan that we are going to look to do. So now a bit more explanation behind sort of each one. Aston Villa, as I've already said, is I think a really interesting team to go with. I'm excited to do a save with them, but from a YouTube channel perspective, I think it's a good team to use as well. Just to sort of go behind the scenes a little bit, show you this kind of stuff. We're obviously a very small channel in a sea of an ever increasing amount of FM channels and many more channels besides. It's kind of hard to stand out, especially as I don't have that much time to do YouTube stuff really. So firstly, if you are watching this, thank you. Really do appreciate it. I still find it weird, but it's really great to see. And secondly, I think a team like Aston Villa will hopefully help with that. They are a big club, but not too big, but loads of other people are going to be doing a save for them straight away, or at least that's my hope anyway. That's also my thinking with Portsmouth really as well. The most viewed video on the channel by literally 1,000 views is the first episode of Norwich. So not only do I think these will be fun saves to do, hopefully they'll attract new people to the channel, get some attention when people search for those teams. Both of them are of course quite well supported sites, so hopefully fingers crossed that goes well. With the other saves we're going to do, well, I think International Journeyman is easily the best thing I've made on the channel by far. It's very fun to make and edit, and I think it's been the most well-received series, even if it's not necessarily the most viewed series. I think it's, certainly once the Euros happened, it really picked up in the algorithm and a lot of people were watching it more, which is great to see. That style of video, where if you haven't watched it, we don't do it in a sort of, the common FM style where you're recording the game and recording yourself talking over the game as it's happening live. Those videos, they're over a longer period of time. I, record everything that happens over that time that's important. I write a script as I go of all the things that happen, and then I record the audio of that and then edit all the footage together in a sort of coherent way. That's definitely the style of video that I'd like to make more of, and it certainly stands out more. It's obviously not unique, as it's obviously fully inspired by Proudy, albeit ours cover a sort of a longer period of time, and he does it far, far better than I ever will. But the major drawback of all that is just the fact that it takes a much longer time to make than those traditional FM series, particularly the sheer amount of time playing through. With International Journeyman, I was able to play, before we started uploading the videos, I played through most of that already. So I was able to get into a really good position where I had a lot of the game already played through to sort of go through. Whereas now I'm having to sort of do it as I go alongside the regular series, and it's just a lot more sort of difficult to get it done in this, quickly, really. The physical playing through takes a lot of time, writing the script, then recording it, editing it all together. There's no way, even if we use that style over just covering, a couple of months of in-game action rather than a longer period of time like we do in the International Journeyman series, there's not enough time for me to regularly do more than, I would say, at most three videos like that in a week, which from a YouTube algorithm perspective and from the perspective of growing the channel isn't ideal. YouTube rewards daily uploads. It's just a fact. But I just would rather do videos like that because I think they're just better. Some of Going Local I don't think has been as good as I would like, really. Mainly because the save has gone quite badly, but also just because of the lack of time and energy on my part when trying to do them sort of every day. So I'm under no illusions of the likelihood of the channel ever becoming big, even in sort of FM terms, and that's fine. But I just want to make enjoyable videos first and foremost, enjoyable for me and enjoyable for you. So I think that will mean slightly less regular videos this year. My aim is probably, ideally 4 to 5 videos a week. That's the kind of ideal amount. So initially we'll just go with Aston Villa until the full game comes out, and then I'm going to start with the International Journeyman style videos with the Chelsea challenge save once, maybe twice a week, probably just once to start with. The busiest times we've had this year on my channel for traffic were obviously when the game comes out for the beta stage, and then also the full game. But then especially after Christmas, when presumably lots of people have got the game, that was a big time. And then actually really quite a lot of people during the Euros. That was a time where we got a lot of traffic for International Journeyman, which is interesting, but then everything kind of trailed off, as you would kind of expect, towards the end of the game cycle. So my tentative plan is to do Villa and then Portsmouth during the first half of the game cycle with the Chelsea save as well. Then as we're coming towards the end, we're going to transition into the East Anglian Journeyman series, probably in the International Journeyman style, and that might be the only sort of videos on the channel 2 to 3 times a week. That's all we do. If there's one thing I've learned from doing this so far, is that Journeyman saves are nowhere near as popular as One Club saves. Going Local has not been very successful in attracting new viewers. So I think we're going to stick to One Club saves at least sort of in the initial period. I like doing Journeyman saves. I actually probably prefer playing them, but in terms of getting viewers in, One Club saves definitely seem to be the most successful. But anyway, enough rambling. Congratulations if you made it this far. And also just say International Journeyman, obviously this year's save will come to an end. And then I'm not planning on doing one again on FM22. I think partly because I want to break from it. I don't want to do it every single year. But also it got a lot of traffic during the Euros. So logically, I think it makes sense to do one in FM23 during the World Cup. That makes sense to me. Unless there is a massive overhaul of international football. If that's one of the new features, if they fix international football on FM22, then we will probably do an International Journeyman save again. We will see though. But there we are. Thanks very much for watching. Any questions, leave them below. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.